And shot. We're getting an update now from Aurora's Chief Todd Chamberlain.
After that initial radio call came out. And again, I think it's important to stress what that radio call was about. It talked about an individual that came from an outside agency of Aurora Mental Health. They talked about the safety and the well-being of the suspect, but they also talked about the safety and the well-being of the mother, and I believe it was also a grandparent who lived in that house. And also, I think you have to consider the safety of this entire community. So with that, our officers arrived. They came based on the information they received. They also had the crisis response team, which is known as our CRT team. So again, it was something that was identified early on, and the proper resources were noted and made sure that they did come with this event. Our officers verified the location of where this individual was at based upon the information received in the radio call. And they also verified additional facts related to community safety and the impact of the history of this individual. Our CRT team, our crisis response team, again, these are mental clinicians. They are both one sworn officer and then also a non-sworn professional in mental health. They started to try to make telephonic contact or to phone this suspect. The phone number was a wrong number. At some point, our clinicians were able to make contact with the mother. The mother gave a good phone number, at which time they dialed up that number and started to have a conversation with the suspect who was inside the apartment. As that conversation was going, our officers went to the location and they started to contain it. We had a canine officer, 4 additional officers that worked patrol, and again, as they got on site, the canine officer was in place near the residence to control the location, and our officers began to designate what they would do and how they would handle this situation as the conversation continued to unfold with the clinicians. The clinician began to supply information to our officers that the suspect inside had a knife and that he had threatened to kill himself, kill others, and he also hoped to be killed or kill police officers. That was the information that they had. So the officers that were set up on the location began to look at the event, and they requested additional logistics. They got less lethal. They had a 40 millimeter less lethal tool. They had a taser. They identified someone who would communicate and talk if necessary, and then they also had the canine next with the canine handler. While all that was getting put into place, the conversation that was occurring with the clinicians in the vehicle out in this parking lot here came to an end. They tried calling back the suspect multiple times. Unfortunately, that suspect would not pick up. So the clinicians tried over and over to get a telephonic relationship and a phone call with those inside, with that person inside, and unfortunately that did not come to fruition. With that in mind, our officers stayed on location. They contained the location. They spent approximately about 25 minutes actually at that area as this call continued to unfold. At some point, they looked and they could see the suspect peering out of the window. He had a large, very large butcher knife, and he was holding it to his neck, and he was continuing to make threats against himself and also kill anybody in and around the area, which included the officers. The clinician, again, not being able to get in contact via the phone, made a determination that they would come up near the residence and try to establish a verbal contact. And hopefully, again, what we hope for on this, to be really frank with everyone, what we hope for is, again, the verbalization, the communication would de-escalate this incident. Unfortunately, again, the suspect made a determination that he was not going to communicate, he was not going to talk. As our officers continued to stand in a containment position, again, they were not in the process of getting into the apartment. They were not in the process of breaching any doors. They were strictly in a containment position outside, hoping for a good conclusion to this event. Unfortunately, the suspect, without any warning, without any verbalization, and unfortunately without any discussion, burst out of his front door and began to run around the corner. Containment saw this individual. They began to make verbal contacts with him to say, stop, stop. It was also observed that there was a large, again, as I mentioned earlier, a very, very large butcher knife. The suspect turned. The canine officer, who had his dog in and around the area, we don't know if the canine made contact, began to be charged by the suspect. And I'm not talking charged by, I'm going to just kind of approach. I'm talking a full speed, head-on charge. The suspect had the knife in an upward position, and he began to thrash and stab the knife into the head of the canine officer. The stabbing was so aggressive and it was so forceful that a portion of that knife actually broke off in the head of our canine officer, and it is presently in the process of surgery. As all this was occurring, and again, this was not a matter of minutes that this contact occurred, it was a matter of seconds. As this was occurring, the other officers on site used the 40 millimeter less lethal tool with no impact. They deployed a taser with no impact, and simultaneously, from what it appears at this point, the officer who was getting stabbed in the head aggressively, repeatedly, and tragically fired his weapon, struck the suspect, and the suspect dropped to the ground, at which time the officer also dropped to the ground. That is what we ended up with. Our officers that were on scene immediately applied medical attention to the canine officer. They immediately gave medical attention to the suspect. The officer was transported by units, police units that were on scene. He was transported to the hospital. The suspect was transported by a rescue ambulance, where he was ultimately pronounced deceased at the hospital. That is what we know at this time. The history of this event, again, to me is tragic. I do want to say right now that I think...
All right, that is Aurora Police Chief Todd Chamberlain filling us in on the horrible events that happened at this apartment complex near the Cherry Creek Reservoir this afternoon. Very quickly, a man was in crisis. When police got to the man's apartment, they say he was holding a very large knife to his throat, threatening violence. The man, they say, ultimately burst out of the apartment, charged toward an officer, stabbed the officer in the head with this large butcher knife, which I've seen photos of it. It's an enormous knife, so violently that part of the knife broke off in the officer's head. That officer was taken to the hospital. That officer then shot the suspect.
Yeah, we now know that officer is also in surgery, as the chief just said. So, of course, this is developing, and we will keep you updated as soon as we learn more information about that officer's condition.
All right, now we do want to mention the suspect was pronounced dead at the hospital. All right, we're going to take a short break and be back with the rest of today's news. Stay with us.